Good evening. My name is Rudi, and tonight we're gonna discuss the SMS notifications that you're gonna get around shares that you've bought, and also some shares that's possible have a look at. Okay. So first of all, after you've bought your share and you want to get the SMS notifications on those shares, then you'll need to go and set that SMS up, and that is for each individual share. Okay, so for instance, I've got 6 different shares on my investment summary for trading account. So I'll have to set up an SMS for each of these shares. All right, so it doesn't mean that if I go to action and I set up an SMS, it's going to count for all of the shares. You have to set them up individually. Okay, so how do I do that? So first of all, I go to action and then I go to set stop loss. All right, so over here, you're going to set up your target value, your stop loss, and your gross stop loss that we've discussed in session 2. Okay, but basically how they work. All right, so this session is about how these SMS notifications work. So how they work is the first one that you get there is the target value percentage. So that's one of the SMS notifications ones that you'll get. So once my share SSW reaches a target value percentage of 10%, then I will receive a SMS telling me that it's reached my target value of 10%. Okay, so that's basically from the unit cost price, right? So from the time you bought the share, it will start calculating the SMS notification from that point in time. All right, and then same with the stop loss. All right, so with the target value, once it reaches your target value, then we recommend you go and analyze the share and then decide, do you still want to keep the share or do you want to push it for a bit more? Then you can change the target value to, let's say, 15%, raise it by about 5% extra. Okay, instead of going 10%, go with at least 5% intervals. All right, so you can come and edit that target value once you've reached your target value. Then the stop loss notification will send you a SMS telling you that your stop loss has been reached. So once your stop loss percentage has been reached, usually you will go and sell the share. All right, so basically that means that your share has fallen from your buy-in point with 8%, then you need to go and sell it. So that's from the buy-in point. Okay, so it's not like the trailing stop loss, which the share would move, let's say, up by 20% and then drop by 8% from there, and then you made 12% and then you sell it out. No, this one is directly from the point you buy the share. If it falls from that buying point 8%, then it will tell you that your 8% stop loss has been reached. The growth stop loss one is the one that is basically the one that's your trailing stop loss. So that's the one that's basically on your graph, on your buying point. So let's say you bought the share at 10 Rand per share and the share goes up to 20 Rand, okay, and then it falls by let's say 5%, okay, from that 20 Rand, then it will notify you that it's fallen by 5%, and you would still be sitting at 15% profit. Okay, so it will notify immediately the moment from the point it drops with 5%, so any point in time, so from 10 to 15 Rand or from 10 to 20 Rand, or from 10 to 25 Rand, doesn't matter. So that highest point, that highest peak that it reaches, okay, it will send you that growth stop loss SMS notification telling you that your growth stop loss has been reached, and then you need to go and decide, do I still want to sell? Do I want to keep these shares? All right, do a bit of analysis. Do I want to keep those shares, or do I want to sell it immediately? All right, do you predict that the share might be going down even further? Okay, but with a stop loss, obviously there's a reason why we call it a stop loss. Once you receive the SMS, rather go and sell and look for something else. Don't hold on to those shares because it might fall even further. All right, the T's and C's tell you that a share is not allowed to fall further than 10%. Okay, so you can set up your stop loss on a max of 10% if you're really willing to risk it. But in my case, I usually like an 8% stop loss with a 10% target, and then same with my gross stop loss, about 8% on my gross stop loss. So I keep my stop loss and gross stop loss the same, but with a target value at a minimum of 10% or a maximum of 10%, and then just change it with 5% intervals as the share grows. Okay, so first one is target value that you'd receive, second one would be a stop loss, and the third one would be a growth stop loss SMS notification. Then the other 2 SMS notifications, the moment you activate this, I've put in my number, I've activated it, I've turned on intraday, and this is the other SMS notification, is the intraday SMS notification. So that's basically going to tell you that your share has increased or decreased by X percentage during the day. So you'd receive 3 SMS notifications if you turn the intraday on. If you leave it off, you'll only receive that SMS at night telling you if the share has increased or decreased by X percentage. So I usually turn it on so that I can receive an SMS in the morning, afternoon, and evening telling me what my shares are doing currently. All right, are they going up? Are they increasing or are they decreasing? All right. Usually with SMS notifications like that, I won't really go into the software unless I see a bigger percentage on the increase or decrease. But I would just leave it as is. All right. So I'd get my SMS, look at it, and then I know I don't need to go and log into the software to keep track of my shares because the SMS is keeping track of my shares. Also note that it works out from your buy-in price. All right. So from the price you've bought the share at, it would start calculating the increase and decrease. All right. So if the share goes up for the day from your buying price, it's going to tell you that it's increased from your buying price. If it's gone down, then it will tell you that it's decreased from your buying price. Okay. So once you've activated it, you've set your intraday SMS on. Just say update values, and it will update those values for you. Okay. Then we'll start sending SMS notifications to your phone, notifying you what's going to happen with your, in this case, SSW shares. If I want to remove the SMS, or I want to remove the intraday, just go back to action, go click on set stop loss, and then I just say intraday off. All right, and then update. And it won't send me those SMS 3 times a day, only at night. But if I want, sorry, I clicked the wrong button. But if I want to just go back in here. If I want to deactivate the SMS, I will just go and click on deactivate. All right, and then update my values again. Okay, and then it will update my values. Just wait for it to load quickly. So I go back to my portfolio, go to action, set stop loss. So I would deactivate and turn off intraday and then update. So then I won't receive any more SMS notifications. Right, it will totally disable them. Okay. So the other SMS that everyone asks about is the stock picks. All right, so stock picks basically comes directly from the additional advisors. So those shares aren't shares that's telling you to go and buy immediately. All right, those are simply go and have a look at shares. All right, so it will send you an SMS notification telling you that it will send you, let's say, 5 to 10 different codes. All right, with pricing. So it won't give you a buy entry price with a sellout price. What it's going to do is it's going to send you an SMS with 5 to 10 different shares, sometimes a little bit more or a little bit less. It will never be more than 10 shares, but a little bit less than 5, sometimes a little bit less than 10. But the SMS notifications will give you 10, let's say 10 maximum different shares with the pricing that the SMS sends out on. Those shares are worked out on the stocks page. So when we go to analysis, stocks, and then additional advisors, right? So underneath the additional advisors, that's where the SMS, those type of SMSs gets calculated from. So usually how they work is they go on long and then stochastic, and then they go and look, the system looks at all the shares greater than 100,000 on the volume, and then also on the long it looks at a buy, and the stochastic it looks at a buy. All right, so then it will, from this list, it would go and choose shares for you. Okay, but there's other few calculations that goes with the volume and the long and the stochastic that refines those picks for you. Okay, so for instance, let's say you received Imperial Logistics, then you need to go and take that share. So you click on that one, or you can go and search it. So easiest way is, let's say for instance that was one of the shares, Imperial Logistics Limited. You would take that share, go to the search at the top. Once it responds, go to the search at the top, type in your code IPL, same as what you got it on the SMS, select the share, and then go to Charts IQ and go and analyze the share and see what the share is currently doing. Okay, so from there you would use your RSI. Just reset all these up. So I would use my RSI, I would use my stochastic oscillator, and I would go and also set up a moving average of 3 days on top of my RSI and make it an exponential and then create. Right, so it's going to look at the, obviously, like this share would have been one of them then. All right, Imperial Logistics, because it's got a crossover at the bottom of the stochastic, it's got a crossover here at the bottom on the RSI, and the share price has gone up in those 2 days. Now on Imperial Logistics, in this case, we can see that we've got a huge candle here. This morning I thought that it might be a wrong candle, but that's actually correct. Imperial Logistics just released their financial year-end results, and they jumped from a price of yesterday's closing of 47 rand 30, and they've got a closing for today on of 63 rand and 25 cents. Right, so that price movement on Imperial Logistics is correct. So if you had any shares in Imperial Logistics, you would have scored about a 60 something percent, or sorry, a 38% growth from that point up until where the price is currently. So you will have a huge jump in one day, right? If you had Imperial Logistics shares, okay. But that's just an example now from the additional advisor. So on the additional advisor, it goes and filters it out, but most likely it would go and look on the winning shares list. Okay, so it will filter it out even more. All right, so that's why sometimes you won't get SMS notifications during the week. All right, it's because of the method that we use on the additional advisor to filter out those shares. Okay, so that you get the correct shares to go and look at. All right, so for instance, for today, Imperial Logistics would have been a really good one that it could have sent out. Okay. Then the other types of SMS notifications that you will get is usually directly from the Golden Goose. All right. So there's a few different ones. I mean, I think there's about 8 different types of SMS notifications that you can get from the Golden Goose, the weekly and daily signals. So you might get about 4 different from the weekly signals and 4 different shares from the weekly signals. And if you bought any shares on the Golden Goose, all right. So let's say, for instance, you have applied for the Golden Goose, you're paying a monthly fee of 99 Rand per month for the Golden Goose, you would start getting SMS notifications, and you might be bombarded sometimes with the SMS notifications because it keeps on updating. All right, this thing keeps on running and running and running, and it will keep on sending SMS notifications during the day, notifying you what's going on the weekly signals. All right, because it's looking at your buy traffic lights. Once a share goes from an amber to a green, then it will send you an SMS notification notifying you that this share has breached its level on the weekly or the daily signals, telling you that this share is currently going up. Then same thing, all right? Don't only go to the software and buy immediately. All right, so don't take the share and buy it immediately. Go to the charts and analyze. Once again, analysis is key. All right, so always take that share that you got, take it over to the charting and do your analysis. Look at your converging trends, your diverging trends, look at your crossovers, look at what the price is doing, and then only make a decision from there. Okay, so on the weekly signals, it will also give you the sell traffic lights, all right, telling you that, listen, um, these shares are now good for a short, or these shares are now good for a long. So it's going to look at both of those options. Okay, and if you bought a share on the Golden Goose, and as I say, you've opted in for it, it will tell you that specific share on your portfolio that you've bought from the Golden Goose is busy going up, all right, or it's close to its target price or close to its expected profit. Then you can decide, do I want to hold on to that share, or do I want to sell out now? All right, so sometimes you can prematurely sell the share just before it reaches the peak, so that someone else can obviously buy the share from you and make that last bit of profit before the share starts to drop. Or or if a share is starting to fall and you are in a sell position on a CFD, it will also notify you, listening, that your shares that you've put on a short is starting to go up now. All right, so you need to go and look at those shares. But there is, as I said, 8 different types of SMS notifications that you can get around the weekly and the daily. 4 being one for your buy traffic light, one for your sell traffic light, one for the share that you've obviously bought on the Golden Goose, telling you that it's going to go up or it's busy going up, and one on on it telling you that it's busy going down. So that's 4 on that, on the weekly signals, and it's the same for your daily signals. So it's vice versa. So the 4 that you're going to get on the weekly signals is the 4 that you'll get on your daily signals as well. Okay, but they can get a lot sometimes. So the ones that already have Golden Goose would know the amount of SMS notifications that you can get around the Golden Goose. Some days it might be quiet, but some days it would your phone would be bombarded with SMS notifications telling you what's currently happening on the Golden Goose portfolios. All right. Um, so yeah, that's the basics of the SMS notification. So that's all you'll basically get. So first would be the ones that that you set up yourself. As I said in the beginning, each and every individual share you'd need to go and set up your own SMS notification. Okay, so each and every one of these will need to have its own SMS notification. So don't expect when you set up one, it would set it up for the rest. Okay, so your stop loss, target value, and your gross stop loss SMS notifications with your increase and decrease SMS, and then your additional advisors you'd get the stock picks from. And then the Golden Goose, obviously, you'll get the 8 different SMSs telling you what the shares are currently doing. All right. And to interpret them, that isn't that it's not really difficult because the Golden Goose ones are basically self-explanatory. So you just need to go in, analyze the shares, or if you already have shares and it sent you SMS notification, then you need to go into the software and analyze. So always remember, analysis is key. Doesn't matter which type of SMS you get, go and analyze the share first. Even if you've reached your stop loss, right? Go and analyze. Okay, but as I said in the beginning, rather go and sell a stop loss. All right, there's a reason why we call it a stop loss. But with the gross stop loss, you can take a chance or two at least, because the share might still go up from there, because it only fell by, like, let's say 8% or 4%, depending on what it was or what the share was that you bought or what percentage fell by. Then you can go and analyze, see, all right, the share is still in a bullish trend. Okay, let me keep it. Or, okay, listen here, there's a big red flag. I would rather go and sell the share. Okay. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the basics of the SMS notifications. But if there's any questions around the SMS notifications and you're not sure about the SMS notifications, or you're not receiving the stock picks, or you've registered for the Golden Goose but you're not receiving any SMS notifications, you are more than welcome to contact us underneath Contact Us. Okay, there's all our contact details, our head office number, and then also our 24-hour support numbers with the 2 email addresses which you can email us on, or you can go to Need Support and then just log a ticket. Okay, and then we will get back to you regarding your ticket that you've sent through to us, and we can answer any questions that you've got around the SMS notifications. If you're not receiving any of those SMS notifications, then we can just assist you with that. Okay, so that's it for tonight. So we'll see you next week again. We will do a little bit more analysis and talk about a little bit more about the Golden Goose, and also CFDs and stuff like that.